All right, the first thing we need to remember with, hopefully, did it change on your screen? Okay. So it says simplify each numeric expression. We're going to follow order of operations, and we're going to watch out for negative signs. Okay, super important that we watch for negative signs because that's where we're going to see mistakes coming in, is on a negative sign. Now, when I wrote, that should have showed up on your screen. Okay. And order of operations, remember, is your grouping symbols. So parentheses, brackets, and it's really laggy right now. I didn't do that yesterday. Exponents might be like 3 to the second power. And remember, 3 to the second power just means 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay? And then we multiply or divide from left to right, and then we add or subtract from left to right. We also have to remember all of our integer rules. Okay, so we go back to the adding integers rule, where we have the song. Same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then it'll be exact. Subtracting integers, keep, change, change. Okay. Hang on. Anthony's just joining us and he needs to get to the right spot. So time out for a second. All right, so remembering all those integer rules. Also, you're multiplying and dividing. Remember, 2 negatives when you're multiplying or dividing makes a positive. 1 negative stays negative. We're good with that? Okay, then. Okay, you're going to see problems like this today, where it has negative signs, but it's not just our simple add these 2 numbers together. There's a little more involved in it. So this example, we'd have to do what's on the top, we do what's on the bottom, and then what do we do with the 2 numbers? What does this line right here mean? Means to do what? What is he? Divide. Divide. So on the top, we end up with -8 because they're the same signs we add and keep. On the bottom, what's 7 minus 9? If I do keep, change, change, it's 7 plus -9. And more negatives or more positives? Caitlin? -2. -2. And then we divide. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that's my final answer. Questions there? Okay. So the next one, I'm going to set up. Okay. The next problem. Okay, to pop up on your screen. And now I'm going to have you guys do the problem. So I'm going to set it as a handout and it's going to show up and you're going to click start. And then you will be able to write on your screen with your finger. Click the pen over on the side. And when you're done, you're going to click the done button up in the right-hand corner. And then I'll know who's all finished with the problem already, and we'll be able to go forward. About this now. Okay, you guys in here can see my screen. You guys at home can only see what you guys were doing unless you split your screen and go side by side. So that's kind of what I need you to do at home. I need you to have the Zoom call up on half of your screen and your work on the other half so that you can compare your work to my answer. Okay, so if we end up in distance learning and we do this, everybody will do the same thing too. Okay, all right, so you should have gotten an answer of -10. Okay, if you didn't get that, pay attention. First of all, 4 minus 2, I would just do it like that, right? 4 minus 2 is 2. Can't change right. What's going on? Doesn't want to work for me. Hang on, we'll get there. Okay, 4 minus 2 is 2. -3 minus 2 is what? Keep going.
5.
Close.
Or -5.
-5. Remember, keep, change, change. -3 plus -2 is -5. When you have these two sets of parentheses next to each other, that means to multiply. So you're at -10. Questions there? Okay, so clear that up here. The next problem then looks like this. Okay, now this one looks a little bit different because we have multiple sets of parentheses. Where would I start on this one? Where do you think you would start? Anybody at home? You can unmute yourself and talk. Go ahead, Dylan. Unmute yourself. Good. So Dylan said once you work from the innermost parentheses out. Absolutely. So you're going to start with the -4 plus 2. What does it mean when the 3 is right in front of the parentheses? What does that mean? When the 3 is right in front of it, Lizzie?
Multiply.
You multiply, and then the -2 in front of that means to multiply. So I'm going to make this so that you can try it. I want you to come up with the answer to this problem. So work your way from the inside out. And you should be able to write on your screen with your finger if you touch the screen. I'll give you about 1 more minute. See if you can come up with an answer. Some of you need to start writing something on your screen so I know if you're paying attention or not. Stephen, if yours didn't show up, try refreshing your screen. So you should have gotten an answer of 12, positive 12. Okay, -4 plus 2 is -2. So those of you at home, you might want to split your screen side by side. Then we multiply -2 times 3. Remember, we're multiplying. I saw a couple of you put 5 or -5 for that. You added instead of multiplied. Okay, this should be -6, and then times that by -2. A negative times a negative is positive, and so we end up with 12. Questions there? Okay, let's try another one. Okay, now this looks a little bit different because it asks you to substitute first. So it says evaluate for x equals -2, y equals 4, and z equals -5. Make sure you show the substitution. Okay. So we're going to rewrite it first. What does it mean when the x and the 3 are right next to each other? When you have a letter and a number right next to each other, what are you doing? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Caitlin? Multiply. Okay, so when I write this, I'm going to take this -2, and I'm going to put that in for x, but we have to multiply. So it's 3 times -2 minus 7 plus, what does it mean when the y and the z are right next to each other? When you have two letters right next to each other, what are you doing? Multiply. Multiply again. So we have y is 4, so 4 times -5. Okay. Now you follow order of operations. Remember, you have to multiply or divide everything first, and then add or subtract. So you should be able to start and come up with an answer. So now you will make sure you hit start on this problem. Okay, so I see a few people with correct answers. So those of you at home, I want you to split screen so you can see me do the problem and compare it to yours. First of all, we have to start with the multiplying. So we do all the multiplying. 3 times -2 is what? Shout it out. Anybody? Even at home. -6. I heard somebody at home say 6, but it should be -6. Okay, because 3 times 2 is 6. 1 negative sign means it's negative. Then we have this -7 plus 4 times -5. What's 4 times 5? 20. 1 negative sign means it's negative. Okay. A lot of people I saw get to that point, and then you started making some mistakes. So the next thing we need to do is just worry about this first one, -6 minus 7. Remember our rules for subtraction. Keep, change, change. So it's -6 plus -7, which is -13 plus -20. Now we're adding, same signs, add and keep. So 13 plus 20 is 33. Keep the sign. That makes sense to everyone? Okay, if you made a mistake, can you see your mistake and figure it out? Hopefully. Okay, if you didn't make a mistake, good job. Okay, last one. we've got this problem. Okay, now I need to ask you guys if you remember what these two vertical lines mean. Wow, that's been forever. Right? What does it mean if you see something like this? What do those two lines mean? I will give you this hint. It's two words. The first word starts with an A, the second word starts with a V. Raylan? Absolute value. Remember that? What is absolute value? That's been like it's been 2 weeks since I've seen you guys, plus probably a week and a half before that since we went over this. So absolute value means what? If I said, what is the absolute value of -3? You would say it is, nobody remembers? It is 3. Okay. Remember, it's how far a number is from 0, and it's always positive. So what's the absolute value of 7? Raylan? 7. And the absolute value of -30 is what? 30. It's always positive. Okay, so when we look at this problem here, it's the absolute value of negative, because there's a negative sign there, and then z. And z is -5. So -5 minus y is 4. How many of you would say that looks kind of weird? What looks weird about that? Lizzie?
There's 2 negatives in front of the 5.
Yeah, there's 2 negative signs in front of the 5. What do you get when you see 2 negative signs? A positive, right? So when you see something like this, and you end up with 2 negative signs right next to each other like that, just make it a positive. So this is really the absolute value of 5 minus 4. What's 5 minus 4? 1, right? What's the absolute value of 1? Absolute value of 1 is 1. So there's our answer. Okay? Questions at all there? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. We're going to take a quick